Hello again from beautiful, sunny Northeast Ohio. Temperature is 73 degrees. It's a nice, cool morning. It's about 10 o'clock. We are on our way from Northeast Ohio to the Big Apple, New York City, to Manhattan to visit our son Frank. We made this trip, I made this trip with Frank when I moved him there a couple months ago. The difference this time, though, is we have access to the Tesla Supercharger network. So we'll be able to use those instead of I believe I used an EA. I don't remember what the second one was, and I think it was an EVgo, and that one was somewhat problematic in New Jersey, just outside the city. So this trip should be pretty straightforward. I think we'll have 2 charging stops, and we may top off just outside the city again at a Tesla Supercharger, and then there are a lot of Tesla Superchargers in the city as well. I'm not exactly sure which parking garage we're in. There's a chance we'll have a destination charger in our parking garage. If we do, that would be dandy, but I'm not going to plan on it. So come along with us on a trip to New York City. Welcome back to E-Hermes, your electric adventure travel channel. Please remember to subscribe, hit the like button, and hit that bell button to be notified of our upcoming content. Even though we are still at 50% state of charge in the battery from leaving home, we're going to stop in about 20 miles to charge. Not because we need to charge, but I have to get on a conference call with graphs and papers and stuff that I couldn't possibly do safely while I was driving. So we're going to stop while I'm giving that presentation. Mrs. E-Hermes is going to jump out and plug the car in, and the truck in, and then we are going to go ahead and charge up probably to 90% or even higher, depending on how long the call lasts. Because my call went on and on and on, we were able to charge to 95% at our first charging stop. And that means, according to the map, we would technically not have to charge before we get into the city. But because I don't know exactly what the charging infrastructure is in the city, and I have seen a few stations there that seem to always be full, I'm going to go ahead and charge one time in Columbia. That'll get us enough to get into the city and probably back out. If our parking garage happens to have destination charging, we'll use it. If it doesn't, we'll at least have enough to get back here. Pretty crowded here. The end ones are all being used, I believe. Both being used, 2 ends. So I'm going to have to take 2 stalls, unfortunately. If this one here, 2D, were available, I could park and not block another stall, but it's not. So I'm going to block 2 stalls.
I don't know how you're going to do that.
And probably aggravate a bunch of people. I'm going to go between the silver one and the red one. Go buy the red one and use the one by the silver one charger. See, so I'm blocking this one, but I'm not using it. I'm going to use this one. Which somebody's going to come and think it's available, and it's not. So the fella in the end space 2D left. Because it's a pretty busy station, so that I'm not blocking 2, I went ahead and moved. I had only charged the other one for about 3 minutes. We're getting closer to the city now.
Right toward Lincoln Tunnel, then keep right. Keep right toward 1.5 miles, then keep right.
We enjoyed spending time with our son Frank. He took us to a variety of attractions, including Korean barbecue, where they cook right at your table. We visited Times Square on a bus tour, as well as the Wall Street area. We rode the Staten Island ferry from Manhattan to Staten Island. Along the way, we came up close to the Statue of Liberty, although we did not visit it directly. We even rented e-bikes and rode across the Brooklyn Bridge. And on our way out of town, we actually went to Coney Island and walked on the boardwalk. All in all, our time in the city, and particularly visiting with Frank, were delightful. We did have one interesting situation with the lightning in New York City. The Hilton Hotel we stayed in the Hilton Fashion District, it's called, has a parking garage that they have discounted parking for. It's still $50 a night, So it's not cheap by any means, but it's normally, I think, $70 a night. So the guy referred me down there. I went down and he said, nope, not taking that big truck. We're not putting that in here. It takes up too much room, yada, yada, yada. Argued with the guy for about 15 minutes. Finally he told me that I'd have to go down to another garage and they were going to charge me $70 a night plus $50 for being a large vehicle. So I said, well, how about if I just pay you $50? And that was the magic formula. I gave the guy $50. He let me park there and only charged me $50 a night. So all worked out pretty well. So that was $250. Otherwise, it would have been at least $280 to almost $400, depending on if they charge the $50 large vehicle fee for every night. So we're glad we were able to work that out. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Like all good things, our visit was over too soon and we headed back to Ohio. All right, we just went under New York Harbor. This is the tunnel that goes from Battery Park to Brooklyn. And here we are now in Brooklyn. Then we're going to go across Brooklyn and take the Verrazano Narrows Bridge back to, I believe that takes you to New Jersey. All right, we're going to go across the Verrazano Narrows Bridge. There's two options. There's an upper deck level, which I've taken because I hope the views are better. And then you can also be on the lower deck below us. Instead of having all the traffic on one level going one direction, each level goes both directions. Here we are getting ready to go on the outer bridge crossing to New Jersey. I gotta say, this bridge is a little bit on the narrow side. Holy crap. Those aren't even real lanes. That's not a full lane width. We have just crossed the Delaware River and now entering Pennsylvania. And the first thing we have is a toll plaza. Looks like they have repurposed at least part of the old Bethlehem Steel into a casino. At least the land they used for it. I don't think they used the buildings. We were pulling up to the Tesla Supercharger in Easton, PA. It's between Allentown and Bethlehem. We've got the end stall here, which is a pull-in, which is going to be nice. We'll get close and we'll only be blocking the stall we're actually using. We pulled into the Clearfield, Pennsylvania Tesla Supercharger at the Burger King, same one we used on the way out. We got here with 8% battery. Mrs. E-Hermes was not even very concerned when the warning lights went off and dinged that saying we were under 10%, under 20 miles. We charged 85% and now we're headed for home. I do want to make clear that once we arrived in New York City and got into the parking garage, we left the Lightning there until we were ready to head back out of town. We hope that you enjoyed this visit with us from Northeast Ohio to New York City. If you did, please hit that like button. As always, please subscribe and please hit that bell button to be notified of our upcoming content. Thank you!